to TRB Live, everybody. I'm John. Thanks for being with us. We have a fun show for you, as always, because we're talking Star Wars, and what better way to talk about Star Wars than to be live with you here in the base. With me, as always, is Josie. Josie, how are we doing tonight?
Hi. I'm good. I'm excited for Halloween. Obviously, it's the night before when we're doing this live. If you're listening on Halloween, happy Halloween. For these of you listening, I have some pumpkins on screen, including this little adorable ceramic one that my sister made that I'm so proud of her all the time. All I do is brag about my little sister, and she made this ceramic pumpkin for me.
Very
Um,
nice.
and I have cat ears on, and that's why John is saying Josie. Because when I got ready tonight, I was like, I want to do something festive and fun. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like buns or something. And then I had the ears because my daughter's obsessed with cats.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I just look like Josie and the Pussycats. I didn't even try, but I'll act like I did on purpose. Yes, that is me. The movie I've
Well,
never watched.
fun facts that people can only find on our Patreon Q&A that hasn't been revealed publicly yet, but I guess might as well let the cat out of the bag. Lacey is actually the president of the Rachel Lee Cook fan club. So that's actually what's happening
You
here
know, I
tonight, ladies
actually
and gentlemen.
do like Rachel Lee Cook.
Mm.
I think her movie was the first one I saw without a parent. She's all that. So,
Yeah,
I mean, not to make her feel
she's
old.
all that.
I complimented her and then immediately was like, "You're old."
I'm
Sorry.
sure she's doing just fine.
She is. She's doing
Um,
Netflix movies, Hallmark movies. She's doing fine.
yeah. We have a lot that we're going to get into. Obviously, a lot of people know it's the day before Halloween, aka Devil's Night. So you kids out there going to the grocery stores for the toilet paper and stuff, everyone knows what's going on. So don't even bother.
Also, it's
We've
super
all
expensive. Save your money and go do something fun
I know.
like
Yeah,
that.
I know. It's true.
Although eggs have come down. Costco's prices of eggs are now under $10. So if you want to get
Really?
eggs, that's the place to go. Yeah.
Uh Kathleen got a half a pound of turkey cold cuts and it was like $10. I'm like, "What? Half a pound for turkey?"
That's when you switch. You say, "We're not eating this anymore."
Yeah. Um but anyway, now I want a Ronto wrap. Trying to get in my Star Wars mode. The morning Ronto wrap.
It's so good.
But be sure to check out Nerdy and Nice on Monday because we're going to be discussing the new trailers for Scream 7 and Stranger Things 5. We like to get the same nerdiness you get for Star Wars on TRB. We do on Nerdy and Nice, so check that out. And make sure if you are listening or watching, you're following TRB Podcasts. And go to trbpodcast.com to check out any of our new merch. Also, you can check out the show there. There's links directly to the show on our main website, trbpodcast.com. And Lacey will get into how you can get more and be more involved with the TRB community later in the show because we have Will of the Force coming up. But Lacey, anything you wanted to address or toss out there to the wonderful Star Wars community before we get into the Resistance Report and then our review of Visions, Volume 3?
Just that if you're watching this video right now on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, please like the video, comment, say, hey, I'm watching from here. This is what I've been thinking about. Just watch this. Let us know what you're doing in the chat. And then also it's just a great way to get involved in the community outside of joining our Patreon or other things like that. And just share this video on social channels. Let's have our community grow and let people know more about TRB.
Yeah,
It's a good
that's a
place.
good time. Join the party. All right, Lacey, why don't we get into the news? Because more had come out about the hunt for Ben Solo since our episode last week. So let's fire it up and dig in.
It's the Resistance.
All right, so we all know the basics of what happened. We went through it very meticulously last week. And since then, of course, more information has come out. Steven Soderbergh took to his own Blue Sky account, which is called like Bituation or something like that. Just
That's what
absolutely
his
crazy.
account was on Twitter, and then he left Twitter. So there is an assumption here that it is him. I tried my hardest to verify that. So there is a slight chance it could not be him, but everybody's reporting that it is him. So we're going to go with that. We're going to trust all these sources and say that it is him.
Yeah, and he sort of shed more light on what happened and the fact that he felt horrible that he wasn't able to talk about it until now. And also, I believe if that was him, shed some support behind the fact that Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm said that nothing has ever gotten this far down the pipeline before getting the axe. So we do have more information that came out of Jeff Snyder. He has a lot of connections involved with Star Wars. Clearly, he's reported a lot over the years. And he did say that there's been some, it's true, it's not true regarding the David Fincher stuff. And he's saying that it was true and it was certainly about Final Cut. But then, Lacey, he also delved into a bit more about the Ben Solo movie and saying that he had a source close to Soderbergh who said that they understood why they canceled the project and that they didn't necessarily believe in putting a $200 million budget behind a vehicle starring Adam Driver due to his box office reputation. So I'll toss it. So
oh no, I didn't know that. Oh no.
So I mean,
Oh,
and
no.
I mean, a lot of that is, I think, opinion tossed in there from Snyder, but the truth is Adam Driver movies typically don't make a lot of money. But at the same time, Lacey, he also doesn't necessarily always make movies that are intended to make a lot of money, and that needs to be considered as well. But with all of this and what else you've seen in the last week, what are your thoughts as we're starting to maybe put more pieces together as to how this thing crumbled?
I'm in shock. I didn't know that specific detail. I'm in shock that that's like such a business sucker punch to an actor. Like, hey, you're
Mm.
really good, but like nobody pays to see you, bro. Like that's a statement to make to someone that's what is he? How tall is he? 6 something? He could pummel those executives. And they're like, "Yeah, you don't make money." So that's very different from the narrative of, oh, we don't know how he came back to life. Because once again, all this corporate stuff boils down to money. Money, 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 interest. What are we getting out of this? What do our stockholders think? And you just lose the excitement and creativity and human ability to create art. And this is what we've been saying on Nerdy Nice with AI. This is what we've been harping on with people like Guillermo del Toro or even George Lucas, like that executives don't know how to create. They only know how to make money. And time again, projects have been shut down or said no to that then go on to be phenomenal, like pop culture moments that have been told no, like Seinfeld. That like I can't fathom sitting in in a room with people being like, no, you didn't make money on 65. Therefore, we're not going to make that Ben Solo movie, even though you made us billions of dollars with the 3 movies that you were in for us. Like, what? That makes no
It's
sense.
it's tricky because we had the banner on the plane and that flew over
Yes.
Burbank and Disney
Yes.
Studios, and now recently there was a digital billboard on Times Square about Save Ben Solo and something about they couldn't use the actual title like The Hunt for Ben Solo, so they had to work around it in a way. And people are putting up flyers across cities,
They're
like there's this
everywhere.
grassroots
The flyers
movement
are
about it,
everywhere. Yeah.
and you gotta appreciate and respect that. But as someone who has gone through all the Make Solo 2 Happen stuff, #1 trending topic out of nowhere for 2 straight years in the world, didn't seem to move the needle much. But I say that by saying don't stop, but at the same time, I don't know that these executives care about the fan movements and that sort of thing. I hope, that's not true. And people will point to the Clone Wars, though I think that was something that they were always going to kind of resurrect at some point. But the other point, and I'm just trying to play devil's advocate because the more I imagine this and think about this movie and hear other fans talk about it, I get excited about it. And I haven't seen this kind of buzz in
Yeah.
Star Wars fandom in a very long time. Like, this created more online buzz than I think Andor did. As
The
great as Andor
Mandalorian trailer
was,
did.
the Mandalorian trailer for sure. This created way more buzz than the Mandalorian trailer did, and that says something. But to
Can
play
I say
devil's
one quick
advocate
thing
here,
before you get
yeah,
into that? Just to respond
yeah,
to what you just said,
hmm
is that my frustration always stems from They love the fans and they thank the fans, and we wouldn't be where we are without the fans when they're making money. When there's millions and millions and millions, they go over $1 billion, all these things. If money is good, then we're the best thing ever. If they themselves, egos, don't think they're going to make money, then they don't care what we think. And that's what makes me frustrated, because I can cut
Yeah.
together a supercut of Bob Iger and other executives, even ones at Lucasfilm as well, that are thanking fans all the time of like, oh, we wouldn't be where we are without the fans. But then when the fans are like, hey, we want this thing, they're like, no. It
Yeah.
just is so frustrating.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, it is weird, and sometimes it's like you want it to be like a movie where everything has this happy ending and,
Yeah.
justice prevails and stuff, but that's, not always the case in the real world, including entertainment. But to play devil's advocate,
Hmm.
I like we don't really know Ben Solo, and the hope of his return is sort of we want to get to know Ben Solo. There's little tiny bits of him in the movies, of course. We get a flashback in The Last Jedi, and we get to see him fully as Ben Solo at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Now, people will say he's always been Ben Solo. Well, yeah, sure, but he was also Kylo Ren. And Kylo
Yeah.
Ren dominated that character for 98% of that trilogy. And I wonder if part of the decision came from Bob saying like, well, yeah, people do love the character, but they love Kylo Ren. They don't necessarily,
Mm.
we don't know if they love Ben Solo. And Kylo Ren's all over the theme parks. He's all over the rides. It's Kylo Ren. It's not Ben Solo. And I wonder if that was a thing of him saying, he's dead. I don't care if you can bring him back as, this Jedi. Kylo Ren is dead, and Kylo Ren's not coming back. And that's the thing that sold the most for us was Kylo Ren.
He is
That's
tied to
the
a lot of park stuff.
Yeah. And when kids talk about it, they talk about Kylo Ren, and that's nothing against the redemption, and that's nothing against what the character could be. But again, we didn't really get to meet or experience Ben until the very end of the movie. And if you want to say in that brief flashback where, the point of view of Luke's memory of what he might have done to his nephew. So the whole Ben Solo thing is all about this prospect of what could be Han Solo and Leia Organa's son fulfilling the good path. And I think when people think about that, and people do love hope in Star Wars, we talk about this on the podcast all the time, our imagination runs away with the amazing heroic things this guy can do now on the right side of the Force. And that makes it painful too, because there's one thing to say, like, make Solo 2 happen because we love Solo and we got to experience Alden Ehrenreich's young Han Solo for a whole movie. And compare it to this, where it's like, we just got to meet this guy. We need to get to know him more. We want to see what he was supposed to be. So I understand that level of frustration is something that we haven't really been able to encounter because we only got a little blip of Ben Solo, and Kylo Ren is still the thing that hovers over it. And Bob Iger's, probably he may have even asked him, "Can he come back as Kylo Ren?" And they're like, "No," and he's like, "Then nope, we're done."
I mean, I've said this a million times. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is that Michelle Rejwan in the Skywalker Legacy back behind the scenes thing was sitting in a room with Chris Terrio and said that Ben Solo dying was hopeful. So hopeful. I was like, huh? What? What are you talking about? He's the son of two of the greatest space fantasy or just fictional heroes of all time. And you're thinking them sacrificing themselves and wanting him back and saying it multiple times within the sequel trilogy and him dying is hopeful. So that's like, I think the stemming of my frustration. And you know this from like back when we saw the movie in 2019 and the years after. I couldn't shut up about it because I was like, how did we get here? So just to
Yeah.
hear that we were gonna maybe get some closure in relation to that, because I think it is a disservice to Han and Leia to have their son die. While he did something wonderful to save Rey, and I think that obviously is a good thing that he turned to the light side to do that. I don't think them dying and him not going on is good for the story and the legacy of what Star Wars is. Um, because the original trilogy, you had Luke survive, his dad dies, and then he goes on to live, seemingly at the time, a wonderful life with his sister and Han, and the galaxy is saved. Hooray, we're dancing with teddy bears. Awesome. And then you find out 30 years later that none of that mattered. And it's hard to lose that messaging of like, hey, things will work out, because you question it like, did they? Did they work out? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's true.
without going into too much more detail of that, I do appreciate the billboards, which they also have done for the Acolyte in Times Square. They've ran Renew the Acolyte billboards. I do love the plane that is going over Disney, because I said this last week, but it was like the Rose meme of like, this is how we win, by annoying Bob Iger. And just, if people want to spend their money to do that, to have their voices heard, I'm all about it. Like, you do you. And just simple things like the posters, like missing Ben Solo, is just so funny to me, because everybody's made their own version of it. So it's not like one person's printing out a bunch and they're like, everybody's having their little say. I love all the fan art that's coming out and other videos and fan edits. And this is, to me, regardless if the movie is made, which obviously I'm screaming that I hope it does. One of my favorite things about being a Star Wars fan in general is the ability for people that have all these different talents and skills and loves and passions to come together to celebrate one specific franchise. And this Ben Solo stuff has been a highlight for me over the past few years, of a time when everybody collectively was like, no, this would have been awesome. Yeah. No, I hate all this other stuff, but like, this would have been cool. And people are sharing each other's posts and retweeting fan art and cosplay and sharing videos. And it feels like we're back to like 2015 excitement going into 2017 stuff, like that everybody's on the same page. And time again, we use Star Wars as a way to escape daily life. Like that's the fun of it. That when everything else is going terrible and the world is burning, at least we can enjoy Star Wars for a little bit here and there to like check out. And I think that this Ben Solo stuff has definitely allowed people to check out a little bit and kind of celebrate each other and to give each other like virtual high fives. And I'm all about it. And I've been retweeting like crazy art, videos, funny tweets, memes. I don't think I've laughed as much as I have in the past week and a half about Star Wars than I have with the Bob Iger memes, and like making the thumbnail for this episode where I Photoshop Bob Iger's face on Palpatine, like stuff like that. Like, it's just been very enjoyable for me to just have a little fun again with Star Wars and not be so serious, while also seeing people from all walks of the fandom collectively agree that they're behind this. And it's been surprising.
Yeah, it's also, when I think about a bunch of the other projects that Disney seemingly gave the go-ahead on, I point to Taika Waititi's movie, specifically because it seems like that movie made it past that approval level where they were announcing it and they talked about it.
They did a press release.
Which means Bob Iger gave it the thumbs up. We know now, 5 years later, that Taika Waititi doesn't even have a script yet. So you have, on one hand, 2019, 2020, Bob Iger being like, what's this? Taika Waititi, what do you have for me? And Kathy's like, Taika, he's white hot right now. He's winning an Oscar. He wants to make a Star Wars movie, like an old school Jedi Star Wars movie. And they're like, well, what is it? Do you have a script? And she's like, no. He's like, perfect. Let's do it. And then,
do you have one yet? Years later? No, he's missing in the middle. He's missing the middle.
And he's doing it on a typewriter because he's a true artiste. And he's like, whatever. Does he have a script? And they're like, no, but he's going to be done soon. And then you flash forward 5 years. And the last we heard from Taika about this is like, well, I have a beginning. I have an ending. I don't have a middle. I have a middle. I don't have an ending.
It's just bread right now. He's like, I'm making a sandwich. They're like, what do you got? Bread.
Yeah, and it's 5-year-old bread at this point. So you got the mold on it. You're like, do I eat this part still? Like, it's just a mess. And he doesn't have a script.
Did he come back to it later? I don't.
It gets the Bob Iger stamp of approval with no script, seemingly no idea. It's just Taika showed up with his typewriter, like, he had to make a Star Wars, and they're like, perfect.
I'm sorry, what did he say?
That's what he said. That's
no,
exactly
what did he
what
say?
he said.
Can you say it again?
He said, I am here to make
No,
a
that's not what you
Star
said.
Wars.
Come on.
Like, I'm here to make a Star Wars. I don't know. That's what he sounds like to me. And Bob Iger's like, I love it. This is fantastic. And then Steven Soderbergh and Adam Driver are like, all right, we got Adam here. He's been in 3 of these movies already. They all made over $1 billion.
You have the
People
costumes fit to him already. The costumes exist.
and we have a finished script, and we have Steven Soderbergh's ready to direct. We're ready to go. Lucasfilm gave us the green light. Bob, what do you think? He's like, that sounds horrible.
And we have, not only do they have a script, they had a script, they had a director, they had an actor, they had Lucasfilm behind them, and they were starting to pull together teams to run this shoot. Like they were like, oh, we're just gonna pass this by them, and then we're gonna go shoot this.
They're
and
like,
Disney
Patty
was
Jenkins.
Like, no.
They're like, Patty, what do you have for us? She's like, all right, check this out. My grandfather was a fighter pilot. They're like, love it. Love it.
Roller skates. Rollerblades, tarmac, I think Top Gun.
Yeah, what do you have for us? She's like, I have this 2-minute video showing why I want to make this movie. And they're like, all right. And they watch it and they're like, that's incredible. What's it called? It's gonna be called, and she's looking around and she's got like the old video games and she's like, Rogue Squadron. That's what it's gonna be called. And they're like, I love it. I absolutely. She's in the. They did the meeting at Skywalker Ranch in the room with all the video games, and she's looking at the wall. She didn't have the title, so she goes Rogue Squadron, and they're like, I absolutely love it, Patty. What do you have for a script? I don't have one. All right, well, what do you have for an idea? I don't know. I just know my grandfather was a fighter pilot, and I really want to honor him. You know what? Green light. We're going for it. Soderbergh calls back up. Hey, I heard you're doing a movie with no story, no script, and it's because Patty Jenkins' grandfather fought warplanes. Can we do our movie with a script, with an actor, with a director, ready to go, approved by Lucasfilm? We can't. Adam, do you have any grandparents who were fighter pilots? He doesn't. Can't make the movie.
This is a long. That's
what happened.
That was a journey.
All right. Well, let me close out by asking you. Like you and I talked about this off air, and we didn't really talk about it last week. Yeah. Do you think? Because I do, that the Rey movie production was impacted based on Lucasfilm thinking this thing was going to roll?
Yes, 100%. We talked through it last week, kind of live, which was really fun, by the way, when that happens. But watching it back, I was like, oh, we were kind of talking through it, and then you looked up the writers, and then we were just like ball rolling, like this is on. I strongly believe that they were connected. I think that the rewrites coming from Rey are being rewritten because the Ben Solo thing got shut down. I know people and fans have pulled up clips from Daisy sitting with Josh Horowitz on his Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. And she was talking about, she's like, I've actually seen something. It's pretty good. And everyone was like, oh, Rey. It must be the Rey movie. But I guess the big question mark I have now is it the Ben Solo movie? Because she was like, something's going to come out soon. Like, oh, I think something's going to come out soon. And it's like, oh, is it? Is it? And I just really, I don't know. It's just, it's mind boggling that you would have a Rey movie and not have a Ben movie of some sort, or not have it. There's still a dyad. The dyad is still there. So you can't not explain things.
Yeah.
I think that they were running parallel with each other, and they were like, Ben is not happening. And they were like, oh no, we now need to redo this thing again. Because originally Damon Lindelof was doing it, and he wanted to do like old Rey, Helen Mirren Rey. And they were like, no, why would we do that? We have Daisy Ridley. Like, why would we do that? So then he was like, okay, no problem. I'll fade out. I'll see you later. Have me back, please. And then they got Stephen, what was it? Stephen Knight, Stephen McKnight, whatever Knight. I think Stephen Jordan Knight is like isn't he a boy band?
He was the lead singer of New Kids on the Block, the first band I ever saw live. Yeah.
It was that. But yeah, so I think then they went to him, and then I think the Ben Solo stuff started to roll. And so then they switched again to the No Free guy because he's attached to Scott Burns, who he also works with. And the idea that these two guys have worked together, it's okay, well, if we're moving these movies in tandem, either one before the other, or they're at the same time, who knows? You have two guys that have worked together. that can easily sit on a phone call and be like, okay, I'm doing this. What about this? And bouncing ideas off each other. Like, there's no question that they have not had extensive discussions about these two movies happening with, I would assume, Daisy and Adam. So it's just wild to me that the whole legacy of what's to come with the sequel trilogy is kind of being pulled apart. But my probably ignorant hope is that they said no to Ben Solo, but they're working Adam into Daisy's movie.
Oh, I mean, that'd be cool for sure. I'm down. But
That's
it's
my
sort of
hope
like,
because I
is
need it. I
that
need the closure. I didn't get it
Mm,
with Rise of Skywalker. So I'm going to be saying that, like, if I can't get this, I'll take this.
I'd be down for that for sure, 100%. But I wonder if that is sort of like Adam putting his tail between his legs. It's like you ask your boss for a raise, and they're like, no raise, but you can now do this job too. You know?
I got a ha 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 ha. As a British person, British person, Lady C's British accent is amazingly funny. Is it really bad? I'm sure it's really bad.
It sounded like almost a little Keira Knightley-ish because I saw the first Pirates
You
again
know what
recently.
it is? I just watched the woman in Cabin 10.
Oh, I
with
didn't see
her.
that yet. Don't spoil. Don't.
I'm not going
spoil it.
to, but Keira Knightley's amazing in it. And that's probably why
She's
it sounded.
amazing.
She talks like really in her teeth, though. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
except
she's like
in
very
Pirates
in
when
her teeth.
she's pursing her lips always, and she doesn't really have lips, so she's like,
It's a pirate.
yeah,
She's
a
very in
pirate.
her teeth. She's a gorgeous woman, but like she talks in her teeth. Whereas us Americans, we're idiots and we talk up in our nose like this, like it's up here.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I'm glad you appreciate it. John does a really good Daisy. You guys should hear it. It's like
And it's
really
incredible.
good.
Yeah, it's
Go
on
ahead.
our Patreon. Yeah,
No, go ahead.
I do
I want to
all of
hear
our
the
mini episodes on Patreon.
tell me the Daisy pitching Bob on the Adam movie and why
I'm
they
not
should
doing
be
a long thing. No, my Daisy Ridley impression is anytime I would see her doing promo for Star Wars where she was doing her best to protect the NDA and not say things, she would often like turn her head to the side and look up and say stuff like, "Oh, I've never heard of that before." Like stuff like that. And it's like my Daisy Ridley sounds like Pinky from Pinky and the Brain a little bit. Like, "Ah, blood."
That's insulting.
But no, it's insulting to myself because I don't think she sounds like that. So there you have it. Also, shout out Spencer's in the chat from Virtual Cantina Network. What up, dude?
I love
How you doing?
Spencer. He's the best. I know all
Yes,
about
he's the man.
waiting. That's the one line I love to say.
Lacey's trying
My
to get everybody
family.
to say her impression's great, so she's gonna do this all night. So fill up the chat and let her know how amazing it is.
No, my best friend is Emily Swallow. That is my best impression. I will stay with that. That is my award-winning impression. And by awards, I won nothing except this
Lacey's.
award.
We're actually gonna stop the entire podcast right now. And,
top banana award.
Oh, we finally have props for bananas on the show. Great. Instead of me
award.
having to use my family's actual bananas, we actually have a banana award.
Fun story. I bought this for John for Christmas last year, and I forgot to wrap it, and it's been sitting on my desk for a year. It's the top banana award.
Do I need to give a speech? I'm so honored.
Go ahead. When you get it, you can give a speech on the next episode.
All right. That sounds good to me.
A Mandalorian no more.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, moving on. What are we talking about?
I had something really funny to say and I forgot about it.
Oh.
I do agree. We're going to get to our visions review in just a moment, but I do agree with your timeline there with the author shift. I'm sort of in the same region of speculation nation, which we do often on this podcast. But yeah, it's interesting. More stuff's obviously going to come out about this, and we're going to keep checking in with it as the story unfolds, and then hopefully redevelops into something at some point. But yeah, keep flying the flag for Ben Solo. Trust me, I know what it's like having, something that you just want to happen so bad, especially something that you thought would have happened, like a sequel to Solo. I still think about it all the time. It's very real. I have Solo stuff all over the place, and it's so I get it. So Ben Solo fans, keep showing your passion and do it with positivity. Don't take a turn in negative town, and have as much fun as you can unifying over that, because that's part of the fun too, is finding other fans who love the things you do. And you'd be surprised who who you all of a sudden develop friendships with over these kinds of things. So keep rocking, Star Wars fans, and we'll see. Hopefully we do see Ben Solo one day and get to actually know the guy. That'd be nice.
Maybe I'm the curse of these projects.
You think so?
So here's my pitch.
Here we
I
go.
loved Solo. It didn't do well. I loved Willow. They got rid of it. I love Ben Solo. They killed him. I really wanted Patty to be the director of the movie. That bombed. My next pick was Taika. That also bombed. So maybe
I think it's a.
nominator
I
is
think
me.
it's a. I'm about to launch a massive conspiracy, and maybe this gets this podcast shut down, but we're live. Let's just go for it. I have a feeling that
Wait, you want to shut down the podcast? What?
no, we'll probably get shut down. They'll turn
Why?
the lights off in the base. But what I'm about to say.
Okay, don't do
So
anything crazy.
I
I actually like doing this podcast.
So, I think it's possible that Bob Iger and Disney executives don't like old school Lucasfilm people. And if you
Or
look
George.
at the projects that didn't do well, if you want to sort of connect them all, they're very Kasdan connected. You have Solo, which we knew was George Lucas's idea to make a Han Solo movie. Lawrence Kasdan co-writes it with John Kasdan, and it's directed by Ron Howard. And Kathleen Kennedy made all those choices to bring in more old school Lucasfilm people to it. Lucas visits the set. He does a shot. I don't even think Disney necessarily wanted to make that movie, but I have a feeling that when he sold it, he's like, you got to make the Han Solo movie.
It was in the
And
deal
Kasdan,
with Harrison Ford
for
pushed for it,
Kasdan.
and then Indiana Jones.
Harrison Ford wouldn't have pushed for a solo young Han Solo movie.
He pushed for Indiana Jones. I was misremembering.
Yeah. Well, Kasdan was saying, like, I'll do this. I'll write Force Awakens if I could do the Han Solo movie or something like that. And so then that doesn't get marketed or pushed well. Same thing happens to Willow, which was John Kasdan show running that. And then obviously Lawrence Kasdan helped develop the character of Kylo Ren with J.J. Abrams. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe they just don't like anything that was connected to George. I was kidding by saying they're going to take down our podcast, but there is something that's to be said about new regimes not liking old regimes, and that includes entertainment. And you got to wonder if there's like anything that is old school that came from that. It's our show now, and we're going to tell you what people like, and that's that.
Yeah.
So
I do want to thank everybody in the chat saying it's not my fault. I was obviously kidding, but it's appreciative that you all say that. Also, I want to give a shout out to Nikki. Nikki, you're the best. I'm so glad that you're here. I wish I could be drinking a cup of blue milk with you in that photo. But thanks for the kind comments. But yeah, no, it's all good. I just like to poke fun at myself. I'm not that important. Do we want to do some super chats before we get into the next story or into our discussion?
Yeah.
Awesome. So first up is David Ford. Thank you so much. To hell with Frozen and Invincibles. The washed up poor excuse for a CEO has to go. I mean, I like Frozen. My daughter loves Frozen. So I don't know if I'd get rid of Frozen, but I understand the like, hey, try new things. So, but thank you. Appreciate your Saraba, thank you so much for the super chat. You're the one that said that my British accent wasn't that bad and that you thought I was joking. That was a college try.
We're still
all
talking about that accent? My Lord.
Well, now you've made it that you're annoyed by it. So now it's in the back of my head being like, keep talking about this. All right. So it was, I don't blame Bob Iger, to be honest. Forbes explained that Solo and episode 9 were combined 50 mil down before marketing. Activist investors were trying to remove Iger at the time, and the MCU was at a max power, of course. He says no to a Star Wars movie. I mean, that makes sense. I understand the business side of things, that they don't want to take on risk, but at the same time, like, you suck, Bob.
And thank you for being a friend, Sarah.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for being a friend. All right. Semperfi Danny, thank you so much for the super chat. Said Mark and I say hi. Hello.
Yo.
How are you?
Hey, guys.
Hi, Mark. Why does Disney hate making money? Why do they hate the solos? I did tweet that. I was like, it seems like a personal vendetta at this point that Bob just hates Solo. Han Solo, Ben Solo, any Solo.
Han Solo took Bob Iger's high school girlfriend, and he never got
Yeah.
over it.
Hashtag make Ben Solo 2 again. Hashtag make Solo 2 again. Hashtag make any solo character movie again. Awesome. Next is Ben Davis. Thanks for the super chat. Said, bring back my boy Ben Solo. You guys are the best. Thank you guys for everything that you do. Ben, you're the best. And
Come
I
on,
love
Ben.
that you're Ben and we're rooting for Ben, all the Bens.
Yeah. We still have this Ben. Bob Iger can't take Ben Davis away from me. That's all I know.
He can. Ben Davis is
Thank
here
you.
to stay.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. All right. It is time for us to chat Star Wars Visions, Volume 3.
Obi-Wan once thought as you do.
All right, Gillerin. We have, first of all, thank you to Disney and Lucasfilm for sending us screeners for Star Wars Visions.
We were just like, yo, Bob sucks. And then you're like, so our next segment, thank you so much to Disney and Lucasfilm for your sharing of the...
Look, I love the New York Yankees just as much as I love Star Wars, and I think Brian Cashman needs to go. So I don't think Bob Iger was the one who sent us the screeners. But
I don't. But I do appreciate the people that work for Disney that have helped us, supported us,
amazing.
and that we chat with. So thank you guys so much, because we do like things like Visions, which we will be talking about, and we will try not to spoil. We don't want to spoil, right? We're not going to spoil. We're going to give general thoughts.
We're not spoiling?
I don't, because it just came out. Do you really want to spoil the whole? We've seen the whole series.
Like I'm not doing a scene by scene walk-through plot recap, but I would loosely, I guess I'll try to be non-spoiler. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. But I am going to point out,
do people want, put it in the chat if you don't care about spoilers. If I get like 5 or 6 comments, we'll do spoils. I don't want to just ruin people's. They're not that long. You could probably get through them in like an hour and a half. But
first comment is, say, spoil it. Just spoil it.
All right, we'll just do it. If you don't want to listen to spoils, head over to the next section, which will be Will of the Force. But we'll get into not crazy spoilers, but we'll probably get into some spoilers. Nikki said she doesn't mind, so we're doing it. We're going for it. Go ahead, John. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, not at all. So we have Star Wars Visions Volume 3, and all the episodes have arrived. We both have watched them all. I think it's fair to say Lacey's probably a bigger fan of these than I am. So maybe, I don't know how you want to handle this discussion, but I basically came at this, Lacey, where I watched all of them. I have general thoughts about the whole entire thing, and then I picked 3 favorite episodes that I was going to talk about. I don't know. I think
we both collectively agreed on that, so we were each going to pick our 3 faves.
Okay. Do you want to go first as the bigger fan of Visions?
No, you go.
Okay.
Give your general thoughts. We'll both do general and then go into it.
So my general thoughts is that every time Visions rolls around, it takes me a little bit to shut off the part of my brain that is like trying to connect it to something, even though I know it's not canon. And I remember doing that watching the Duel Payback, I think, which is actually the first episode of
it is
Volume 3. And then I'm about a couple of minutes into it and something happens and I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm not, wait a minute. This doesn't matter. It like, shut it off, John. Just shut it off. And then I just absorbed everything, sat down. I wasn't looking for like Easter eggs or trying to jot down references. I just sat down and just took it in. And I really loved that because it's such a freeing feeling. And I know I probably said similar things the last time Visions rolled around, but it is a nice palate cleanser. And also I love the fact that as somebody who wasn't ever a huge anime fan growing up, I did love a lot of cartoons. And I do feel a lot of the storytelling style, but also how some of the things are presented, especially a lot of the action sequences. I realized a lot of the stuff I grew up watching cartoon-wise, Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, all that stuff, a lot of that probably took inspiration from this stuff as well. And I just felt like a kid again watching a lot of this. And I love the fact that I didn't necessarily need to connect everything. And I thought visually it was fantastic. I liked some of the blends of different styles within one episode. Like on one hand, you'll have this super modern looking space battle technology from an animation side, and then the characters are drawn in a very old school 1980s way, and they're both in the same episode. I thought that was really, really cool.
Mhm.
I also liked a lot of the emotional beats and some of the um, subversion that happened, especially in a story like the Duel Payback. And was that Chewbacca? I assume that was Chewie, right? Like, are we supposed to
I
believe that's Chewie?
So that's a good question. I thought the same thing when I watched that. I was like, this has to be Chewie, right? They wouldn't just throw a Wookiee in here for no reason with like the C3PO Red 5 is also in there. So I'm assuming it's Chewie or
Yeah,
Chewie's
and
brother.
he has the same armor that he wears.
Yeah, the
So
bandolier thing. Yeah.
the bandoliers, yeah. So anyway, that I'll just kick it off with my list then. So we got the Duel Payback is my top 3. As I was watching that, I'm like, this is like I could picture George Lucas really loving this if he watches these, because it's black and white, it's old school samurai, but at the same time, they OD you with fan service and nostalgia like
Yeah, they do.
crazy. And I love that both of those happen in the same thing. You have the old school black and white Kurosawa style samurai, and you see it essentially all drawn with a pencil. And you're like, some human being has the talent and ability to create something with pencil. And it's just so unbelievable. Or the stylization of pencil art. And it's clear they relied heavily on what influenced Star Wars through via Kurosawa. And then at the same time, you have all the fun stuff like the Ewoks and the droids and all the sound effects and Yavin and all these different things that pop up in these episodes. And I just really loved. I was like, service this fan. You got the Ewoks banging the drum, blowing the horn, doing the peace pipe. Oh yeah, the same. The only criticism I have is that you can tell if you're a Star Wars nut like all of us are. You can pinpoint certain
Sounds.
vocalizations or sound effects that you've heard exactly in other Star Wars
I mean,
media.
it was
So
all Return of the Jedi, basically.
yes, yeah,
The whole
yeah,
fight scene. Yeah.
and the Chewie stuff, like the Ewok, I'm like, that sounds like Chewie in A New Hope when this happened, and but so I really enjoyed that one a lot. I like the fact that it was sort of like what would happen if the Jedi turned bad, but also like General Grievous, and they're robotic, and then there's leg lightsabers, and like I just very cool.
I mean, this was one of my favorites too, which is no surprise because this is a return of a character that they've explored in comics and in books and is definitely a fan favorite. They also have action
Yeah,
figures of this character, Ronin.
yeah,
Um, it kicks off in like a club bar cantina in an AT-AT on a hill, which is wild. Like that's such an
yeah,
original idea. But the kind of gruesomeness of the bad guy who has been his face and jaw has been sliced off by Ronin, and then his legs were sliced off. So this guy is literally machine now. He's not a human
hmm
anymore. Um, it's
very
that,
Darth
like you
Vader.
said, yeah,
Yeah,
it's very toying with the who is the good guy, who is the bad guy. Is it possible for someone to come back from the dark side? I like the toying with the two bad characters, the Twi'lek and then him, and it was kind of like this kind of tension going on with them winking at each other, but then like hating each other, but then liking working together. And she had
hmm
that sick, lightsaber arm thing. I just found that this episode and this kind of short was a good example of, like you said, like melding the things that we love about Star Wars and that are clearly Star Wars, from the AT-ATs to
yeah,
the ships to the Ewoks to the Anzellan. There was an Anzellan that was like running the whole plan, which was wild.
hmm
To adding those Japanese samurai influences, but also exploring a lot of what ifs, a lot
yeah,
of like wild, crazy what ifs. And that's what I like about this series in general. And that's a purely for me as someone that grew up with anime. So like I grew up with Cartoon Network after school anime. So that's like Pokemon, Sailor Moon, Gundam Wing, Tenchi Muyo, like all that stuff. Dragon Ball Z. I would say that Sailor Moon in itself like changed who I am as a person. Like there's a couple things in my life that I know changed me, which was Star Wars, Sailor Moon, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and a couple other things. But these very much have moments that inspire me and connect me back to that childhood memory of watching things for the first time. And that's what makes Volume so special, is because they take things that are so purely anime driven and like anime influenced, and they look so original here, but at the same time you're having the nostalgia of Star Wars while also being like, oh, this is like a Sailor Moon episode or like a Gundam Wing episode. I love this series so much. It, like you said, it literally lets you tune out and just enjoy it. And I said this online when I was giving kind of my overall review of it, is like, it takes everything you love about Star Wars and just pushes it that much further into like the outer reaches of what we should know and think about Star Wars, and does stuff that's purely original. And there's no arguing about it. There's not like, hey, you can't do this.
Exactly.
Or this doesn't
That's
work.
great.
It's just, hey, just have fun with it and enjoy it. And if you don't like everyone, which I'm going to be honest, there were ones I didn't like, but that's okay. There were still things about them that I liked. But yeah, the dual payback was a really good, like, I was locked in to kick off the whole volume with that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so well, that's one for each of us. Then I liked the Ninth Jedi continuation. That was the one. The animation like blew me away, especially the space battle stuff. It looked so clean and crisp and sleek, and like almost like I was picturing like it would have looked like as a live action space battle. That was so good. But then at the same time, a lot of the characters had a very like 1980s grainy low frame rate type of animation. And then when like you pair the two, I'm like, I don't know why this works, but I'm like kind of liking it. So that was
I liked
really
Tedo.
cool. Tedo was awesome.
The best.
I was trying to think, for some reason, I'm like, what? Why am I thinking? I'm trying to think of another Star Wars character that spoke in the third person like that, and I don't know why I can't think of it. And I was like, Jar Jar didn't really do that. But anyway, I thought that was a really charming character, and I love the fact that he like idealized Jedi, and he was like, the Jedi are gonna come save the day, and like you could see, like I love seeing a little droid who doesn't really have the emotions that human beings do, just still having this optimistic faith in Jedi and stuff like that. Because I feel like a lot of stuff we've been watching lately is like, oh, maybe the Jedi aren't so great, and maybe the Jedi didn't do so hot, and maybe Yoda covered something up, and you hear like this little droid saying like, the Jedi are here, the Jedi will help us, and it didn't like really get twisted up on us or anything like that. And then the emotional aspects of it, you know, I felt sort of how I felt when K2SO sacrificed himself at the end of Rogue One, the way Tedo does by giving his power source, or if you want to get topical, the way Ben Solo gave Rey his life force, Tedo's giving his life force to help power that escape pod so that she can leave. So I thought that was one of the more powerful stories. I thought the music in that one was very, very strong. And then like a quote, a very innocent but sweet quote from Tedo saying, why do people need to fight wars? And she didn't know what to say to that. And it's like that type of stuff is like a question a child would ask that seems like, oh, well, that's because, you know, they're naive and they don't get how the world works. But it's also such a simple question that maybe we should be asking.
Yeah, for me, that one stood out for kind of the environments that it explored. Like within that ship, there was like a room of just like water with stones, which is very kind of, they did that in The Mandalorian with the waterscape with Ahsoka.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then the idea that this droid has been waiting around for however long because his master is in the other room in this like Bacta tank and he can't leave him. And it's like so depressing. And he's like, people have come and taken stuff from the ship, but like he's still there. And then when they finally get which obviously she's moving rocks, LOL. When she finally does that and they get him and she realizes he's dead. Oh God, it was heartbreaking. And it very much reminded me, going back to my anime influences, there's a whole storyline of Sailor Moon where she goes back into the future to see herself in kind of like a coma type situation where she has to like help herself in the past to help herself in the future. And it reminded me very much of that. It's like, oh, please come. And then they realize the big reveal, like, oh, it's actually someone connected to this. But that one was good. I liked it. I felt like it was a good side story, and I really need like a full movie of this character. it just like made me be like, "Ugh," once again, I'm getting like a glimpse of this journey when I
Yeah,
want
I
the
get you
full
there.
range of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, go ahead with your last one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Smuggler. It might have been my favorite. The title caught me. I was like, oh, like let me see what this is about. But I like its very direct. It felt Andor adjacent. It's just all about sort of um fighting unwarranted authority and literally kicking stormtroopers in the face and stuff like that. And the simplicity of that, sort of like seeing Indiana Jones punching a Nazi, it just does something to you. And I really like that element of it. But I like the classic Star Wars vibe to it too. It had a New Hope type of feeling to it. Light, fun, fantasy. But also the chase scene reminded me so much of Indiana Jones style chases and the chase scene at the beginning of Solo in Corellia. Similar type of speeder, uh, comedic comedic relief throughout. And then I love the old woman Gleenu, who was voiced by people in the chat may know this, but Judith Light, who played the mom on Who's the Boss. So
Oh, I
Judith
watched it with
Light,
the Japanese voices. Did you do the English?
I did the English just because that's what had come
Okay.
up, and
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, Judith Light did the voice, so that's pretty cool. The mom from Who's the Boss. And she kind of looked that character looked kind of like how B. Arthur's character looked in the holiday
Yes.
special. I know it's a different character.
They look
Uh,
similar. Yeah.
yeah, but like I was saying, heavy Andor vibes, and I just love the connection between the characters. You have this prince who was sort of doing a Prince and the Pauper type of thing, and then you have this smuggler, and they end up on Yavin, and he's like, "You can help us out." It was like very Andor vibes, but I love the connection between the characters and the clear care of these strangers for one another, and this to see the hope in someone else and say, like, I can help you if you help us, and we'll help you, and we'll all help each other together. And then also, of course, the element of the Jedi had this mystery to it again, which I loved, which is like, oh yeah, the Jedi are gone, and they've been gone for a while, but there's still something, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's not one of those things where there's like Jedi everywhere and everybody knows a Jedi and stuff. It's back to this feeling of what the Jedi are a myth sort of thing. Like when Rey said, "I thought Luke Skywalker was a myth," and I love when Jedi are in that pocket. Like I like me the prequels. I've really grown to love them, as you know, as I've gotten older. But there's something about the Jedi being mysterious and there being not many of them is my bread and butter. And I love that this episode really honed in on that, while also giving us a very fun, adventurous smuggler story that brought characters together.
I do want to chime in really quick. Mike did the research for us. He said the Wookiee in Star Wars Visions Volume 3, The Duel Payback, is a character named Fuzzball, who works as an enforcer for the Anzellan crime boss,
All right.
Oyabun Kaidama.
Because
Oyabun.
that Wookiee looked just like Chewie, and he had the same bandoliers from
I mean, he
Solo,
probably
and
is Chewie, and they were like, you can't name him Chewie. So they named him
yeah.
Fuzzball. Who
They're
you
like,
call
can
him
we name
Fuzzball?
him Buryaga? Or what was the Wookiee that Jonas played in Acolyte?
Oh my God, I'm already forgetting.
I know. I feel horrible.
Oh no. What is that one?
Chat's
Guys,
gonna
when
help
new
us out.
information, information comes in, some leaves. Kalnaka. Thank you, Steve.
Kalnaka.
Kalnaka.
Yeah. Parent brain on the
Ooh.
dial for us. Yeah.
Yep. So it's funny you say that it reminds you of Andor, because I do have pulled up, just so I get the names right, of like a visual guide from StarWars.com by Dustin. Thank you, Dustin, for doing this visual guide. And he said if you love Andor, you should watch The Smuggler. If you like Revenge of the Sith, you should watch Duel the Payback, which makes sense because you said
Oh,
George
yeah.
liked that one. And then if you love Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, you should watch the Ninth Jedi Child of Hope. So that's interesting. All right.
Very cool.
So I have, like I said, my first one was The Duel. I really like that one. My second one that I really enjoyed was, I'm going to skip around a little bit, was Yuko's Treasure, which is funny enough on this visual guide is, if you like Skeleton Crew, you'll love Yuko's Treasure. So I really enjoyed this one because it was, child wonder, fresh journey, Disney story, traumatic parent death, and then the child finds their way with an adorable helper. Billy
Yeah.
the bear droid, which I didn't even know he was a droid until he was microwaving a turkey in his chest, um, is so cute. It's very Hayao Miyazaki, Baymax-ish, big fluffy guy. And when they had him in the trailer months ago, I said, this guy's going to become my personality. And the moment he came on screen, I was like, this is everything that I love about anime and, you know, just like adorable children's stories like Totoro. Billy was just like the best. I think that's how they say it, Billy. It's Billy. It was just such a fun take on droids. Like we've never really seen a furry, big, fluffy droid like that. That's like a caregiver to a child, and it looks like something that would be a caregiver to a child. I liked the kids' characters. I thought they were great. Sola and Yuku. And it takes place on seemingly Tatooine. They go to the same cantina, which looks like the same guy from A New Hope. And
Yeah.
yeah, Nikki says in the comments, Studio Ghibli. Yeah, it looks very Studio Ghibli, this one. And it's, man, I just really had fun watching it. Like it was just not too serious.
It was really cute.
It was
Yeah.
just a fun story that like I could show my kids and not be too worried about it.
They got to sell that bear now. Like
I know. I need a plush. I need a sticker. I need a comic book. I need a notepad. I need a pen. I don't know. I need all of the things that have Billy on it. And I just love like the hopeful messaging of like, hey, even if you have this traumatic experience or you don't have your parents, you'll find family along the way. Like Perfect found family. He says, Sola, you're in our family now. The part that made me laugh really hard was when he went bad. Like they made Billy a bad droid for a little bit. They just put a helmet on him.
Yeah.
They put like the Darth Vader helmet and cape. They were like, what should we do to show the audience that he's a bad guy now? And they were like, let's just put this helmet
That's
on
a good
him.
point. Yeah.
And he just kind of runs like Naruto runs around. It was just really, really fun. I enjoyed it. It's one of those ones that looking at it, I will go back and watch it no problem. And I might watch it with my kids. I got to go back and make sure it's not too scary.
I figured that one would be your favorite, one of your favorites.
Because it's so cute, right? I love cute things, guys.
Yeah.
Cute things really do it for me. All right. So then the other one, which is to no surprise to a lot of people, I'm sure, is the Song of Four Wings, which is the story of a princess from a planet that was destroyed by the Empire, and she joins the rebellion, and she's on the speeder bike with her droid who plays a cassette tape for her, and she's like rocking out, which is funny from the get-go because I'm like, if I was in that position, I'd also be listening to like Sabrina Carpenter House Tour, like as I'm driving down this like icy like tundra to find bad guys, like I'd be rocking out. And that's totally what she was doing, which I loved. I love that there's of course a cute, adorable little baby force theme, like obviously like Grogu, it's like a little baby force sensitive alien child. And so cute. It's got the big eyes, and does origami, which is where the four wings comes from. The other part of it that really sold it for me was not only is she strong, independent, destined to do the right thing, it had like an Akbar character in it, which I was like, oh my God, is that Akbar? Who's like, don't do this. And she's like, whatever, turn off. Which is also something I would do. And was the part which totally like sold the whole story for me that I was like, yes. And I was like air punching was when the AT-ATs come out of the snow, which is so sick. When she finds that mining facility for coaxium, it comes up again, coaxium. She gets like hit off the bike and then turns into like Iron Man Gundam Wing with the droid. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen. They've never done that in Star Wars, where you have a droid that just takes
that
this
threw me
load
for
of
a
armor.
loop. Yeah.
I loved it. And she has like the shot of her helmet with like the coordinates on it is so cool. Very Top Gun. And she saves the day with the force sensitive alien, which I knew it was coming because it was doing the cut between her, the plug that's like this, which why is it always an outlet, by the way? It's always like, it's not plugged in. Oh no, the
that's
gun's not working.
yeah. I think there has to be, not to interrupt, but there has to
Yeah.
be an unwritten rule in Star Wars that when it comes to like shutting something massive down, it's just one lever, one
It's a
plug.
plug.
Yeah, it's
So,
Obi-Wan
like,
going boop, and that takes away the whole tractor beam of the Star.
so she's like, oh no, I need help. Hurry, plug it in. And it just cuts to the thing like going like this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this reminds me of BB-8 with Poe, where he's like, I don't know, fix it. It was just a very Star
Or like
Wars
Anakin's
moment.
pod racer when it's dangling, he has to reconnect
Yes.
it.
And
Yeah.
then you see the little animal use, I'm sorry guys, I've only watched these like once or twice, so I don't know all the names. Use the Force to then plug it in. It was so
Yeah.
great. It was such a fun experience. And then she's like, we were destined to be here. See, like there's a reason why we went through these terrible experiences so that we could find each other. And I was like, that's so beautiful. I love it. And that was my other favorite.
And what's that classic anime style where the character's suspended but they're clearly flying and the background is moving? You know what I'm talking about? They always do that.
No.
Like where the characters like not seemingly not moving, and to show their motion they have the backgrounds moving behind them.
I don't know if that's a style. That's just a way of animating. Yeah.
Oh, well, I like that. That's all I want to say.
Oh, no, that's fine.
All right. Good stuff. So let's real quickly. So we both said the dual payback, and I
Yes.
said the smuggler and the Ninth
Yes.
Jedi, and your last two were
The Song of Four Wings, which was the second one.
Yep.
And Yuko's Treasure.
Very good. And let us know in the comments what your favorite episode of Visions was and your overall thoughts on Volume 3. But a lot of fun. And now we have a very truncated and quick and fun round of Will of the Force to close us out.
I fear nothing, for all is as the Force wills it.
So there are lots of ways you can support us here on TRB. You can like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media at TRB Podcast. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on X, we're on Blue Sky, we're on everything. Just follow us there, share our episodes. It really helps. If you follow us on audio platforms, that's cool too. Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a review if you have a second, because it lets us know how we're doing and also plays into that lovely thing called an algorithm, which we all hate, but here we are. If you want more than that, you can head over to patreon.com/TRB podcasts. Starting at just $5 a month, you can support what we're doing, whether it's running this show, because surprisingly, there's costs everywhere, from running the show, running our website, doing giveaways, upgrading equipment, traveling to events, which we're already putting together our calendar for the next year and the year after, and much, much more. It lets us know that you want to be a part of the resistance. And you get mini episodes, opportunities to buy original merch, which one is coming very soon. We made a special design for a special someone, and once they get it themselves, we will then announce it to everybody else on Patreon if you want to get one, but we don't want to announce it until that person gets it. Wink, wink, if you're listening. Wink, wink.
Patreon.
We'll see if they gotten it yet. So it's in the mail. But yeah, so stuff like that. And other than that, you get to be a part of the show. So Will of the Force is your opportunity to ask like a will they, won't they situation. And we give our thoughts. So kicking it off is Commander Joey. What up, Joey? And he asks, will Maul face Vader in the upcoming series Maul Shadow Lord? John, what do you think?
I feel like we talked about this not long ago, but I am down to talk about this all the time. The way my mind is right now, Joey, I'm in a very why not type of feeling. And I think it's something people always have wanted to see, who would have bested who, even if it's probably ending in some sort of stalemate where someone doesn't die, of course. But yeah, why not? You know what? The world's on fire. How about yours? Let's have Maul face Vader in the upcoming Shadow Lord. I say yes. Let's do it.
I'm going to be that person and say no. I don't think they're going to touch this one. I think they're going to save Vader for other opportunities with Obi-Wan Kenobi, or, telling other stories. I think Maul isn't going to come face to face with Vader again. I think there'll probably be mentions of him and like maybe hints at maybe will it happen, but that's a tall order to put those two up against each other. So I'm gonna say no. I
Alright,
do want to give a shout out
that's
really
fair.
quick to Red 6 Dawn, only because they have a Saja boy as their profile picture. And I
Oh,
truly
okay, very
appreciate
good.
that. It looks like it's baby Saja. Is it baby Saja? They said that the Mandalorian and Grogu and Star Wars Starfighter is what they want, and they could care less about Adam Driver. That's fine. I forgive you, Red 6 Dawn, because you have a Saja boy as your profile pic. So I'll let
Mhm.
this one slide.
Alright.
Just caught my eye. I
Who
had to.
was
What?
Red 6? Was that Porkins?
Red 6? I'm not sure.
It was
But
Porkins. Red 6 down. So he's basically his whole profile is memorializing Porkins from A New Hope.
Porkins,
Yeah.
R.I.P. Also Saja
R-
boy.
R.I.P. Eckhart.
Which,
All right.
by the way, I totally bought the K-pop Demon Hunters ramen at Costco because they had a pallet of them. And I was like, yo, this has the Derpy Cat on it. It has Rumi on it. I need it. I don't care what it is. I just have to get it. So I got it. It's delicious, first of all. Very detailed ramen compared to here in the US. It's not one packet, it's like 3 packets.
A lot of
So
sodium.
spicy. So spicy. No, it's spice. It's all spice. So it was like I was dying, but I was like crying while also enjoying it. I was like, this is so spicy, but it's so good. Anyway, so
Oh,
if
we have
anybody
to. All
needs one,
right.
I have a ton at my house.
We cannot move on to our next question. We unfortunately need to restart the show, according to Nick Arcus, who said he just got here. Quick start over. So let's take it from the top. Let's do it again.
John, I just had a panic
Sure.
attack that the stream stopped. If go back, guys, and watch my face when he says that. I'm quickly looking at all the different spots of the screen of where it's
Oh,
running.
sorry, Lacey. I would
Oh
have
my
sent you a message
God.
privately for that. Yeah. The show rolls on.
My stomach just sank, but like my eyes are shooting to the timer, to the Instagram. Like my eyes just did like
Oh,
6
my
different
bad.
points.
My bad. Oh, I'm sorry.
How
All
dare
right.
you?
Let's move on.
Come on, Nick, get it together, bud. Not Nikki.
Get it here on time.
All right. Our next submission is from Commander Lori. What up, man? He said, will we ever get to see Chimere founding the Knights of Ren? So this is, I think, something that's come up recently. It's not new information, but I think it's just been dragged. Nick's like, ... Sorry. It's all right, Nick. No worries, man. I'm just joking with you. Chimere. Yes, Chimere. So this is something that I think has been drawn back into the public sphere by people that are looking everywhere for different details and stuff of how all these stories could have come together in the past few years. And it seems like Leslie Headland was probably writing The Acolyte during this period as well, of the Rey, Ben Solo, etc. So the news came out via the Art of the Acolyte book, where she said that clearly from the music of Kylo Ren's theme playing throughout the season, which she says in interviews like, hey, yeah, there's a reason why that's happened. In designing the character, he is the founding member of the Knights of Ren. So as soon as that came out, people took snapshots of it and put it up online, and it's come up again with the Ben Solo stuff being like, look, they canceled the Acolyte. We could have gotten this whole full range of story of what happened, how this came about, etc. Will we ever get to see him found the Knights of Ren? I'm going to say yes, but not in the way that you want it. You're going to get it in a comic. You're going to get it in a book. You're not going to get it live action.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
I agree.
If they said, we're axing the Acolyte, which Chimere was the best character in that show, if they're axing that and then they're saying no to Ben Solo, who is another Knight of Ren, and all the Knights of Ren are dead in The Rise of Skywalker, I don't think you're getting more of that, except in books, guys. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think the chances of us seeing Manny Jacinto in live action as Chimere are probably low, unless they figure out a path to pivot that into something with Palpatine. I know people don't like that, but
I don't.
Probably true. I agree. Probably comics. I can totally see a Charles Soule miniseries, Dawn of the Knights of Ren, or just called The Knights of Ren, or Birth of Ren, or something like that. And it's going to be Chimere starting the Knights of Ren, which on one hand, you you get more fulfillment for the character. He doesn't just become the next victim of Plagueis, as he at some point replaces him with Palpatine. So it doesn't end well for Kymir. We've talked about that many times on this podcast, but it gives him a legacy. So I like that. Whether that was definitely intended or not early on, I don't know, because Leslie Headland was at the premiere of Rise of Skywalker, as were we. It was very nice.
We were.
And I'm pretty sure that's when they agreed to do the series. You figure she probably went through the writing process, and they filmed it in 2022. We saw footage in London in 2023. It comes out in 2024. So it was probably predating the Adam Driver development stuff, or at least around the area. But I don't think it's one necessarily connected or relied upon the other. But like I said, it gives them a legacy, and I think live action's probably not going to happen. So you're probably going to see him continue on in a comic, and I could totally see that being a Charles Soule thing. 'Cause I'm pretty sure he did the Kylo Ren comic series, which showed how he got involved with the Knights of Ren. So yeah,
and he's also a consultant for Lucasfilm right now.
exactly. Yeah.
And that is it this week for Will of the Force.
Right. That'll take us to the end of the show. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, being a part of TRB. Thank you to everybody who joined us as part of the live chat. You always make the shows so much more fun. Thank you for all the super chats. And in general, thank you all for being part of the Resistance. Because if you are listening to this, you are part of the Resistance. And don't ever forget it. TRB is always here for you. We welcome all Star Wars fans into our community. And we appreciate all of your support. Lacey did all the plugs before. We will be with you on Wednesday night next week. A little change in schedule happens with life, but TRB live Wednesday night, 8:30 East on your podcast apps. Thursday, again, that is next week. So our first episodes for November. And don't forget, Nerdy and Nice. You like stuff beyond Star Wars. We're talking the Scream 7 trailer and the Stranger Things 5 trailer Monday on Nerdy Night. That's on its own podcast feeds. But all of the bonus stuff is on our Patreon. Lacey, where can people find you to talk about all this fun stuff we talked about today?
Before I get to that, I just did want to give a quick shout out to a bunch of people that have been watching us on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks so much, guys. We really appreciate it, because I know I share a lot of YouTube stuff because it filters right in, but I also want to give a couple shout outs from Instagram. So clone.cx9, thank you so much. You've been very active the entire show. TRB, let's effing go, baby. And then a lot of claps. Appreciate it. He also says he watches on Instagram, Patreon, and YouTube. He's got us covered.
Wow.
He said, in only the way a clone can. So we appreciate that. Shout out to Virtual Cantina Network. Hey guys, how's it going?
Yo.
They said we need more solo, Ben or Han. And I agree. I agree with that. But thank you guys so much for watching wherever you watch. I really appreciate it. Share us wherever you're watching. Let people know. Share on Instagram via your stories, comment, subscribe. All the different channels, because times are getting crazy on social media. So just to remind people that we're still here, because we have been doing this podcast for like 8 years straight every week.
If everybody watched us or listened to us as in the way that Clone CX9 does, like at 3 different platforms at the same time, we'll be in great shape.
Wild.
Yeah.
But you can find me on social media at Lacey Gillerin, on TikTok at It's Lacey Gillerin. And also coming up next week, I'm making an appearance on the Etchcast on Wednesday to pitch a horrible horror movie idea. That is the game. So as someone that hates horror movies, it's going to be comical. So stay tuned for that.
Right on. All right. Johnny Hoey from me on Blue Skies, the main spot. That's where you can follow me, reach me, chat with me about all this good stuff. And Nerdy Nice Monday, and my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. We just did an episode on Ghostbusters 2.
Ooh,
not a good sequel.
Good one.
Not a good sequel, but one of the best comedy sequels of all time.
I actually don't. I like that movie.
I know, me too. Me too.
Yeah. You said not a good sequel. I like it.
Nuance. Listen to the podcast, Lacey. Give it a shot. All right. All right. We're going to get out of here. We hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Thanks again so much for listening and watching and having some fun with us here.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Happy Halloween. Be safe. Have fun.
Share your costumes. Oh my God. Costumes, pumpkins, decor.
Candy. Yeah.
Send it to us on social. We want to share them. Pumpkins, decor, candy, whatever, how you're celebrating, Star Wars or not, I guess. Just let us know. I love seeing that stuff.
Absolutely. Me too. Yeah, have fun. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time right here on the Resistance broadcast. See you around, kids.